A major meteor shower peaks and we continue to track a comet moving through our solar system. Let's take a look at what you can go out to see in the night sky for July of 2026. I'm Michael Martin, and this is Late Night Astronomy. This month's episode of The Night Sky is sponsored by the astronomy weather app Ouranos, and we begin our journey into space this July by taking a look at a major meteor shower. The Delta Aquarids are best viewed from the southern hemisphere, but regardless of where you live, you'll be able to go out to see more meteors than normal. To see them, go outside on the night of July 30th into the early morning of July 31st, which is the night when they peak. If you live in the northern hemisphere like me, go outside around midnight and face towards the southeast. In this part of the sky, you will come across the constellation Aquarius, where these meteors will appear to shoot from. My friends in the southern hemisphere typically have a much better time seeing meteors from this shower. You'll be able to go out around 10 p.m. on the night of July 30th to begin your views. With Aquarius in the east, you'll be able to watch as this meteor shower rises higher into the sky as it peaks into the early morning of July 31st. On most years in the southern hemisphere, you could expect a rate of 25 meteors per hour under ideal conditions, and perhaps 10 to 15 meteors per hour for those of us in the northern hemisphere. But sadly this year, a bright waning gibbous moon will wash out all but the brightest meteors from this shower. If the moon is going to get in the way of this meteor shower, we might as well go out to enjoy some views of it as well. Let's begin with its phases this month, starting with the last quarter moon on July 7th. New moon July 14th, first quarter moon July 21st, and finally a full moon on July 29th. The moon will also make several close passes to planets and other objects in the night sky this month, beginning with Saturn on the 7th, M45 the Pleiades on the 10th, Mars on the 11th, and Venus on July 17th. Before we continue on with our journey through the night sky, I'd like to take a moment to recognize this month's sponsor, Ouranos. Ouranos displays a detailed yet easy to understand nightly forecast up to 14 days in advance. On the nights you plan to go out, it will give you a sky quality index with cloud coverage, scene conditions, and data every 15 minutes, with the ability to choose your best weather model. If you're curious about what you can see in the night sky, Ouranos' sky analysis will show you which planets, deep sky objects, and comets can be observed and imaged from your exact location, with altitude updates being given hour by hour. One thing I personally enjoy using is the light pollution map, which helps me to locate the best dark skies near me when I'm traveling. For those of you doing astrophotography, it even has a community section that will allow you to share your astrophotography for others to see. It's available as a free and premium version on the web, Android, and iOS devices, and it also includes group license discounts for astronomy clubs. I appreciate Ouranos for sponsoring this month's video, and I'll be sure to leave a link to it in the description below. After last month's incredibly close appearance of Jupiter and Venus, we continue to track Venus moving higher into the western sky as Jupiter goes below the horizon around the middle of the month. At this point in Venus's position to Earth, it is always enjoyable to track its phases. Here's how Venus will appear through a medium-powered eyepiece with a telescope on July 1st, compared to how it will look at the end of the month on July 31st. We'll keep coming back to Venus over the next couple months, tracking its position and phases through the end of September. Moving to the early morning sky in the east, Saturn and Neptune will begin to rise above the horizon to a good altitude for observing by 2 a.m. in the morning, with Mars and Uranus moving above the horizon ahead of the rising sun around 3:30 a.m. A comet that we started tracking in June continues this July as a telescope target for everyone to see in the northern and southern hemispheres. Comet Tempel, or Tempel 2, will rise to good heights in the northern hemisphere for views, beginning around 2 a.m. in the east. It will start off July in the constellation Aquarius, with predictions having it around 8th or 9th magnitude. As the month goes on, it will move from Aquarius to Capricornus, possibly ending the month around 7th or 8th magnitude. For my friends in the southern hemisphere, your views of this comet will begin much earlier at around 10 p.m., with it moving higher into the sky for great views through your telescopes throughout the month. Now let's leave our solar system behind and take a look at our deep sky challenges for the month of July. You'll be able to see these objects with the naked eye, a pair of binoculars, and a telescope. But as always, it's best to get to the darkest skies that you can, and that also means going out to observe these objects when the moon is not out. Let's begin by going outside about an hour and a half after sunset and facing towards the east. As you look up, you'll come across the constellation Lyra and one of the brightest stars in the night sky, Vega. After locating Vega and enjoying its views with the naked eye and a pair of binoculars, turn your attention to two stars that are actually four, Epsilon Lyra, the double-double. With the naked eye, it will probably appear as one star unless you have exceptional vision and are under excellent seeing conditions. With a pair of binoculars, it will split into two stars. But with a telescope, these two stars will split into the double-double that they are, making four stars visible through the eyepiece, probably somewhere between 100 and 150 times magnification. But our main event this month is a target that I get excited to see around this time every year, M57, the Ring Nebula. This planetary nebula formed after a star like our own Sun exhausted the hydrogen fuel it had, creating instabilities in its outer atmosphere that caused it to be expelled in energetic pulses. The expanding gaseous shell forms a planetary nebula, while the stellar core collapses to become a white dwarf, brightly illuminating the nebula. With a pair of binoculars under ideal seeing conditions, I've just been able to pick up the shape of the Ring Nebula, but almost all of my observations have come from a telescope between 100 and 250 times magnification. Thanks for joining us on our journey through the night sky. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and consider subscribing to this channel to join our growing community. But most importantly, let us know what you're hoping to get out to see and where you saw it from in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for your continued support, and clear skies from Late Night Astronomy.